Hey, welcome to Happiness Bar, where my goal is to share cocktails, content, and happiness. And today, we're making a little winter vodka craft cocktail. We're making it with vodka, Nigori Sake, Amontillado Sherry. We're gonna make a Pomelo and Mint Sherbet. For the first time, we're making a sherbet on this channel. I'm gonna show you how it's done. It's done with lemon juice, a little saline solution, and all of that is gonna be made and poured over a mango ice cube. This is a flavor changing cocktail. The longer you sit with it, the more the flavor changes. It's gonna be exciting, guys. So let's jump right in to the vodka for beer drinkers. Now, I called it the vodka for beer drinkers because when I made this cocktail, the way these components all came together, the citrusiness from the pomelo, the mint kind of gave it that herbaceous note, a touch of bitterness from the mint. With the Nigori Sake, the vodka, and the Amontillado Sherry, the way it all came together, it just reminded me of a very citrusy, like East Coast style IPA. It felt like it had a little hoppiness, so that's why I called it Vodka for Beer Drinkers. So Vodka for Beer Drinkers is here. Super fun cocktail. There is a bit of prep work to do. The build for Vodka for Beer Drinkers is 1.5 ounces of vodka, 1 ounce of lemon juice, a 1/2 ounce of our Pomelo Mint Sherbet, 1/2 ounce of Nigori Sake, a 1/2 ounce of Amontillado Sherry, 2 dashes of saline solution. We shake that, we double strain that, we serve that in a rocks glass over top of our mango ice cubes that we're gonna make right here. So all that being said, we got a bit of prep to do today, so let's jump right into the prep work. The tools you're gonna need for the prep: you're gonna need a cutting board, you're gonna need a liquid measuring cup, you're gonna need a knife, you're gonna need a kitchen scale or something that can weigh out grams, you're gonna need a pot, you're gonna need a citrus juicer, you're gonna need a big mixing bowl, you're gonna need a muddler, you're gonna need a bar spoon or something to stir with, you're gonna need some basket strainers, you're gonna need a blender, and you're gonna need some of those square silicone ice molds. Mine are currently in the freezer, freezing those mango ice cubes that I made the other day. All right, guys, so the first bit of prep we gotta do is we gotta get started with our mango ice cubes. Now, I'm super excited about this because this kind of acts as a garnish and as a part of the cocktail, because as this ice cube melts into our cocktail, as you sip on it, it's gonna change the flavor profile of the cocktail. So it's like you kind of get like multiple cocktails in one, because it's gonna slowly infuse mango into this cocktail, which pairs perfectly with the pomelo and the mint. It is awesome, so I'm so excited, and it's super gorgeous. We're gonna garnish the actual cube with another piece of mint right on top, so it looks super pretty. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started with that. Let's grab our cutting board and our knife. All right, and let's grab our mangoes. So I'm using these little honey mangoes or sweet mangoes, I forget what they are. If you buy traditional mangoes, awesome too, that'll also work. So basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna use 2 of these mangoes to 2 cups of water. If you use traditional mangoes, do 1 whole mango to 2 cups of water. So I'm gonna start by slicing these bad boys open. And I just slice mangoes. I go along the fat side and the thinner side, and I slice these pieces off. These mangoes have that big pit in the middle, and it can be hard to cut around, so just kind of guide your knife along that mango. Oh yeah, perfectly ripe, beautifully in season mango right there. Let me do this to the other one here. Just follow, if you hit the pit, just try to follow your knife along that pit the best you can without cutting into it. And then honestly, the easiest way I found to cut up mangoes is once you have these kind of halves like this, just score the mango all the way to the skin. Try not to cut through the skin, in like maybe 1/2 inch little segments, so that way you can pop it just like that. Awesome. So I'm gonna do that to all of these, and then I'm gonna pull out the blender, and I'll just be able to pull those little pieces right off into the blender. It'll be really, really cool, really easy. These long pieces here, you can kind of do the same thing. Just cut a little line right along every 1/4 inch or so without cutting through the skin. You'll be able to pick those pieces right off. Real easy. Okay, grab my blender, just pull these little nubs right off into the blender. Your hand's a little dirty, a little sticky. That's okay. That whole big piece in there. The big boys. All right, so let's grab our measuring cup. Let's measure out 2 cups of water. Add that into the blender with the mango, and we're just gonna turn that bad boy on high until that mango is completely pureed. Right, that's looking good. So I am gonna grab my square silicone molds. This is one of the few times where I feel like these silicone molds are great for ice, right? You're not gonna get that super clear, crystal clear ice out of it. Better to do in big formats, but for flavored ice cubes, infusioned ice cubes like this, great for it, because you're not looking for clarity anyways, and it's the best way to freeze these. So we're gonna take our mixture here, and we are just gonna fill our silicone molds all the way to the top. Careful not to like overfill. All right, that should be perfect. Awesome. So that recipe will yield you 6 ice cubes, right? If you need to make more, you want to make more, double that recipe up. The next thing I'm gonna do, this is just gonna add a little garnish. There already is mint in our Pomelo mint syrup. So I'm kind of just doing this as a nice, pretty little garnish in the cube, right? So pick out some nice looking mint pieces, and you're just gonna lay it right on top. Press it down a little bit. You don't wanna like sink it. All right, if I can, I like getting these little top pieces here that are kind of like all floral looking. They're kind of pretty. If you don't have enough of those, you can also just like, you know, grab one of the leaves, not too big of a leaf, and place that right down on top. If I can use those little pretty Y-shaped ones on the tops of the mint leaves, I like to use those. And there it is, guys. We got our mango ice cubes ready to go in the freezer. We're gonna throw these bad boys in the freezer, and we're gonna freeze them for 24 hours, and they'll be ready to go. All right, so we got our mango ice cubes in the freezer. They're freezing up. The next bit of prep we gotta do is make that Pomelo Mint Sherbet. Now, this is something new in the channel. We have not done a sherbet. We haven't done an oleo either. A sherbet is kind of similar to an oleo sacrum. And basically, it starts with an oleo sacrum. What that is you muddle the rinds of a citrus fruit into sugar until the oils release and it becomes almost like a paste. Now, the difference between an oleo sacrum and a sherbet is an oleo sacrum, you would just take that sugar and those rinds and cook that in water, and that would be your oleo. A sherbet, instead of using water, we're then gonna take the juice from the pomelo and we're gonna cook that with the sugar and the rinds. In this case, also some mint. All right, so the recipe for our Pomelo Mint Sherbet, we need the rinds from half of a pomelo. We need 250 grams of sugar, and we need 125 grams of pomelo juice. We also need 12.5 grams of mint. Now that amount right there should yield you close to 20 vodka for beer drinker cocktails. And this will stay good for 2 to 3 weeks in the refrigerator. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab my scale. I'm gonna grab a container, kick that scale on, throw the container on, make sure we zero out that scale, and I'm gonna weigh out my 250 grams of sugar. All right, 250 grams of sugar. Now we're gonna add that into our bowl. Now, we're gonna grab our pomelo, make sure it's washed and clean, and we are gonna peel about half the rinds off this pomelo and just put them right into the sugar here. So So these bad boys are thick, so you gotta like really work them. You don't want to get really any of the white, right? You want to keep it like none of the pithiness, because that's gonna make it like bitter. I already smell the oils coming off this thing. All right, that's about half of the rinds. So get a little more. Okay, so we got half of the pomelo rinds in the bowl with the sugar. Next, this is where the hard work comes in. We are gonna muddle these rinds into the sugar until the oil starts to release and you get a paste. This takes about 10 to 15 minutes, sometimes 20 minutes, right? If you have a vacuum sealer at home, you could put all these ingredients into your vacuum sealer, seal it up really tight, kind of beat it up a little bit and let that sit in the vacuum sealer. And it takes, I think, maybe a day or a few days that way, but hey, at least then you don't have to physically do it. So I'm just gonna be here muddling away, and I'll probably either speed this up on the video or I'm just gonna cut right to some of the points where it gets close. The key is to try to do this in a way where you put enough pressure, but you don't fling the sugar all over the place so you have a huge mess. Oleo sacrum, just like a nonna used to make. I don't think my grandmother ever made an oleo. She had arthritis. She couldn't say oleo. Give her hand pain. Stupid. Start to smell the oils already. Still gonna take a while though, don't let that fool you. So we're still early on, but you can kind of see the sugar's starting to get a little wet, a little more coarse, clumped together a little bit. That's a good sign. Don't think about it so much, you know, just zone out, man, you know. Let all your troubles from the day wash away while you muddle your rinds into your sugar and allow the good sense of citrus to fill the air. Yeah. It's stress relieving, man. It's like a good candle and a workout all in one. Oh. What's fun about this is that after you cook these rinds in sugar and you strain out the rinds, you can coat these in sugar and like candy them, and then you'll have like candied citrus rinds. Y'all, I think that's about as paste-like as we're gonna get muddling by hand. You can see it's kinda sticks together a little bit, the sugar and the oils of the rinds and all that. It smells super citrusy, super rindy. That is what we're looking for. The sugar's sticking to the edge of the muddler. I'm gonna wipe that off into the pot. And what I'm gonna do, grab my bar spoon. I'm gonna put this whole mixture of sugar and rinds into my pot. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do, guys, is take my scale. I'm gonna turn that on as well, zero it out, and we're gonna weigh out those 12.5 grams of mint leaves. We really just want the leaves. We don't want the stems, guys, because the stems just add weight. All the oil is in the leaves. 12.5. Beautiful. All right, we're gonna add that into the pot, place that back on the scale and zero that out. And we are gonna take our pomelo and we're gonna cut it in half, right? If you have the top and bottom here, North and South Pole, we're gonna cut across the equator of that bad boy. You got this massive fucking pomelo, man. They're like big grapefruits that are like a touch sweeter. So I'm gonna take actually this and cut it in half one more time. And we're looking for 125 grams of pomelo juice. And actually, you know what? I might cut it into quarters because these things are so big. I don't want juice going everywhere. It's one. We're gonna go for a little more because then I'm gonna strain it out and I'll just strain out the 125 grams. Grab one more container, place that on the scale, zero out the scale, and then we're just gonna drain it out once to 125, and then we'll strain it a second time when we strain the syrup, so we don't need to strain it twice right now. So we're gonna add that to the pot with everything, turn our burner on to a medium-high heat, grab our bar spoon, and we're gonna stir everything in. Now, what we're looking for is we don't want to bring this to a boil, right? We just want to heat this up enough to where all the sugar dissolves. And this is a 2-to-1 ratio syrup, so it's going to be a little thicker than most of the syrups we have made, but it is going to be so good. I already smell it, man. It smells fantastic. I'm gonna get these out of the way. All right, and while I'm waiting for that to heat up real quick, I'm just gonna cut and juice my lemons while I've got the knife and the cutting board out. Same process as always. Cut them, juice them, double strain them. Right, my syrup is starting to just heat up. I can see it just barely starting to simmer. Sugar is almost dissolved. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and turn it off the heat. Now that I see it just barely starting to simmer, you know, I don't want it to heat anymore. And that sugar will continue to dissolve. The mint will continue to infuse into the syrup, as well as the rinds from the pomelo. All right, real quick, as we always do, double strain that citrus. Bang, bang. Grab a lid, blue tape, label and date. Lemon juice, good for 2 days. Throw it out on the 3rd day. All right, and our syrup is done. All the sugar is dissolved. That mint is kind of cooked down. Smells so good, citrusy and minty. All right, syrup is done. Lastly, we just gotta strain it, right? Strain it right into the container here. You'll notice it is a more viscous syrup than we normally make. Most of the time we're making 1-to-1 ratios, but this is a 2-to-1. So, strained out. See, it picked up the color from the pomelo, the rinds, the mint, all of that. Grab a lid. I'm gonna label and date this. Again, the shelf life is 2 to 3 weeks on that. Just keep an eye on it. And there you have it, guys. That's that Pomelo Mint Sherbet. Last thing we gotta do is just make our 15% saline solution, and then we're ready to make our cocktail. All right, so our 15% saline solution, I know we've done this a handful of times if you've been with me. If not, I'm gonna run through it real quick. If you need a more in-depth refresher, check out the Bar Essentials playlist and look up saline solution. So basically, we're gonna do 15% saline solution, throw a container on our scale, zero out that scale, looking for 100 grams of water, 100 grams into the pot, place that back on the scale, zero it out, and we are going to weigh out 15 grams of salt. So 15%, 15 grams to 100 grams. And this is just gonna add a touch of salinity to a cocktail, just like your food, right? If you like to salt your food, why not salt your cocktail, man? All right, 15 grams of salt into the pot, turn that burner on to a medium-high heat, grab your bar spoon, give it a stir. You wanna heat that up till it starts to simmer, just about to a boil where all that salt dissolves. While I'm waiting on that, create a little label. The shelf life on this, guys, you're pretty good. You know, it's just salt and water. You might see salt crystals start to solidify around the edge, and you know, maybe you want to make a fresh batch. I try not to keep things longer than a month. That's just me. That's heated up enough. That salt looks dissolved. Turn that off the heat, and I'm just gonna pour it right into my container. Boom. Throw a lid on it. There we have it, guys. That is all of our prep work for today. We're ready to make a cocktail, so let's go ahead and start making that vodka for beer drinkers. All right, guys, so we're ready to make our cocktail, vodka for beer drinkers. As you can see, our mango ice cubes are ready to roll. So pretty, so cool. I'm gonna set those aside here. This is a shaken cocktail, so first thing we're gonna need is our shaker tin. And we're gonna need our jigger, and we are going to need our glassware. Now, cheapest ingredients, most expensive ingredients. We're doing a whole ounce of our lemon juice. We got a half ounce of our Pomelo Mint Sherbet. A half ounce of our Nigori Sake. A half ounce of our Amontillado Sherry. Ounce and a half of our vodka. Grab a straw, and we're gonna drop 2 dashes of our saline solution. Yeah, bang. All right, let's grab the large side of our shaker tin. Let's ice our shaker. Make sure we fill that shaker tin all the way to the top with ice. And let's pick out our prettiest ice cube here. Press it out. It's hard sometimes with these because they're not only frozen, they're a little sticky. Oh yeah. Look at that ice cube, man. So pretty. Set that down in the glass. And let's go ahead, seal up our container, shake our cocktail for 12 seconds as always. Seconds. Crack that container. Grab your Hawthorne and your basket strainer, and let's double strain that cocktail. Oh yeah. And there you have it, guys. Vodka for beer drinkers. Let's taste. Man, am I excited to try this. I haven't had this cocktail in a minute. Off the bat, a lot of citrus, a lot of acid, subtle bitterness, creamy from that Nigori Sake. Nice notes from the Amontillado Sherry. Yeah, you get that bitterness, a little salinity, a little bit of hoppiness from like between the mint and the rinds there. I mean, that's why I called it vodka for beer drinkers. You know, it's kind of like, I don't know, somewhere between like gives you an IPA-ish note or like almost like a sourish beer note, man. It's really kind of cool. So tasty. Now, I'm gonna let this sit for just a few minutes because I want to let this ice cube, this mango ice cube melt. Because this cocktail is a flavor-changing son of a bitch. It's a flavor-changing cocktail, man. This cocktail changes flavors as you sit with it and sip on it. You're chilling. You're talking to friends. You're enjoying some snacks. You're by a fire. I don't know what you're doing in your wintertime. Maybe you're on the beach drinking this. Maybe you're looking over a beautiful ocean sunset while you drink this. Either way, you're sitting, you're having a good time, you get a little distracted. The drink chills with you, the ice cube melts a little, and the cocktail will just subtly and slowly change flavor profiles as you hang out and this mango ice cube melts. You start to get more mango notes going into the cocktail, right? It starts to cut a little bit of that acid and you get a little more sweetness going in. And it slowly and slowly just becomes tastier and tastier because it's catching you by surprise. Flavor changing cocktails, man. It's exciting. I'm enjoying every sip. I'm gonna sit here and watch as that ice cube fucking melts. I got all day. I don't have to go nowhere for a while. So I'm gonna hang out with this ice cube. I mean, this ice cube become best friends. And we're gonna hang out together and it's gonna feed me and feed my soul and give me joy and love, and I'm just gonna take care of you. I'm gonna take care of you until I drink you up and poop you out. Well, probably pee you out. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I don't know. Mango melted juice would, yeah. I don't think it matters. Either way, this cocktail is gonna become tastier and tastier as it sits here. It's hot as fuck in the studio under the lights, man. Sometimes you gotta sit back and just enjoy your creation. You hung out with me this far, you know, I hope you're still hanging. I want to say I appreciate all you regulars out there that have been watching these episodes, learning about cocktails with me, hanging out, hopefully having a good time, and yeah, man, #regular. I'm gonna get some t-shirts made, I think. Maybe some hats. I wanna get some happiness bar pins. Happiness bar, hashtag regular maybe. I don't know. Just let this little guy go. And how pretty, I'm gonna try to do this without spilling. How pretty is that as a garnish, you know? Bright yellow ice cube in this kind of white opaque cocktail. The mint leaf just kind of stamped right on top. Spill a little. It's a beaut. It's a beaut, and I'm proud of this cocktail. This is a labor-intensive cocktail, I gotta tell you. I'm exhausted. Muddling out that oleum to make the sherbet, man, the oleo, whatever the fuck. It's exhausting, it's tiring. Hopefully you have a vacuum sealer at home and you can just use that. But if you like doing this, man, right? You put time into making food at home, why not put time into making some drinks, some good cocktails, enjoy them, right? As opposed to just drinking whatever, you know? It still ends up being more cost effective than going out and grabbing drinks, and you have a good time at home. Maybe you make them with your life partner. Maybe you make them with your friend and you guys have a good time and you learn something. And you learn how to make it. And then you catch a little buzz. And if, you know, if you're life partners, if you're friends with benefits, then hey, maybe that buzz leads to some fun. And maybe that fun leads to some babies. And maybe those babies lead to becoming the best craft cocktail connoisseur. 21st century, after they're 21, of course, not when they're babies. Yeah, that mango's starting to infuse, guys, slowly but surely. Super nice. It's slowly sweetening up the cocktail with that fruitiness of the mango. Really awesome. A little bit of pungent note mangoes give. I fucking love it. Vodka for beer drinkers. There it is, guys. I hope you have enjoyed this recipe. Maybe you made it along with me. Maybe you wrote it down to save for a later date. Either way, let me know how you're liking everything. And hey, become a regular somewhere. Become a regular at your local watering hole. It's the best way to support local business. And become a regular here at Happiness Bar by liking, commenting, subscribing. Hit that bell if you want notifications. We got cocktail videos coming out every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Get you ready for the weekend. Stay happy, everyone.